In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click subscribe down below. We got a Dynasty episode today, and we're going to be talking about third-year receivers. Everyone waits for the big explosion to happen. We're going to be talking about a few of those guys today. Make sure you go on www.podcastawards.com. It's the 13th annual edition of these podcast awards, and you can nominate us starting July 1st. And I think it runs the whole month of July and August. So if you want to go on there and do that, we'd highly appreciate it. So sit back, crack a cold one, and enjoy the show.
Losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option. We present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
No one's cutting him.
You know, I didn't mention the names of the podcast.
Whoa, teaser.
Yeah.
Teaser.
Yeah.
I live on pressure, Jimmy.
I thrive on pressure.
I excel on pressure.
And right there, Tony jumped right in and said James traded his soul to the devil for good looks. He lost that trade, Jimmy. Yo, I like Mixon and Duke.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody. Triple Coverage Podcast. Today we are once again double covered. We have my brother James up.
Woo, woo.
And myself, Jay, up.
What's up, guys?
And Travis is still on Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
Hopefully he has a place to go when it gets dark out there, because I know it gets kind of chilly, even in the summer.
At Laguna?
Yeah.
I don't know. Laguna's too high. It's like I can't even fathom taking a vacation there. That's how like bougie it is.
Very hoity-toity. Yeah, bougie. It's very extra.
That's him. Extra Travis. Extra Sutton. Sutton Rich for sure.
I would actually like it. Maybe he brought me like a little bottle of sand from Laguna, because it's so like high-end sand. It's like sought after.
They got crystals and diamonds in there, I think. So maybe
Crushed
that's why
up.
they went there. Crystals. They went there for crystals and essential oils, maybe.
Yeah, like regular people go to the beach and they look for like seashells, and sometimes they're broken, but the Suttons go to Laguna Beach and they look for like gems and crystals in the sand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully he's got a couple third-year receivers on his team that can help him out. But today we're talking third-year wide receivers. For most of fantasy, I guess, relevance, people look for receivers going into their third year because they get that experience, the route running, they start to gel with the quarterback, and that's usually their breakout year. Is usually season 2, into season 2, maybe start of season 3, where they take that next stride. So today we're going to talk about 5 names that are either on the cusp of like what you should do with them. Should you cut them? Should you trade them? Should you hang on to them and hope that they do play out as a fantasy relevant wide receiver this season? And the first name I wanted to talk about was Corey Coleman. Mm-hmm. Huge situation change for him, in my opinion. Corey Coleman's with the Cleveland Browns. He's 23 years old only, 5'11", 185 pounds. 2016, he had 33 catches. Not very good. 2017, he had 18 catches. They bring in Jarvis Landry. You have David Njoku. You still have Josh Gordon there. You have all these pass-catching running backs there. Does that help or does that hurt Corey Coleman's value? Because they also drafted Antonio Callaway as well. So there's a lot of weapons in Cleveland. Are you higher on Corey Coleman this year than you were in the past?
No,
I'm not.
Here's the thing, though. Corey Coleman, in my opinion, is not a guy that if you own him, you're looking to cut. And if you try to trade him, you're not going to get what I think he's probably worth.
It's a potential, I guess.
It is a potential, because when he has played and when he's been healthy, he's never been suspended. It's more been like minor injuries. He almost has like that Keenan Allen type bad luck, to where it's like weird
not near
injuries.
the talent, though.
Not near the talent. I'm not saying near the talent. I'm saying he has the same bad luck with injuries. Like he'll come out, he'll play really well for a couple of games, and then he has some weird injury in practice where he breaks his hand and he misses 6 weeks, or then he injures his hamstring and he misses a few weeks, so he can never like put together a whole season. He's a first-round pick.
Yeah, but look at the quarterbacks that he's had there. You know, it's like has he really had a fair shake as a healthy wide receiver?
Yes.
No.
So that's why I can't blame him.
Okay, but you own him, right? And at least
one
one
league.
Okay, so like you said, you're not going to get what he's worth. What's the least that you would take for him in a rookie? We have a rookie draft tonight. Actually, you own him in the draft we have tonight, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I have the 307 in this draft. Would you do the 307 for Corey Coleman straight up?
No, I would want a second round for him. I don't think
Jesus.
he's worth a first round pick. I think he's worth a mid second round. I don't even know if I would go super late. I'll go mid second.
Like I have the 205 as well, I think, or 207 maybe. No, I'd have the 205. I have the 205 in the same draft. there's no way I'm trading because like Corey Coleman from where I can get at the 205 as a rookie. Like last night or 2 nights ago, I got James Washington at 212. So 205, you're looking at like Anthony Miller, Dante Pettis, as far, you know, a couple
James
of
Washington,
James Washington. Like there's good guys that are, you know, that have a lot of upside as a rookie. But the fact that he's only 23 years old, he's basically a rookie age. I mean, he's 1 year older-ish than some of the rookies that are coming. He's the same age as Calvin Ridley, 23 years old. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Do you want that guy that's got a little bit of experience, but he's injury prone, or?
I thought he would be traded around draft time. I thought that once they decided they were going to take Antonio Callaway, he kind of became expendable. Clearly, he's not ever going to be the number 1 or number 2 there like they originally thought when they drafted him.
Well, especially now he doesn't have. Okay, but now he's going to get the third corner essentially. If he did, let's say week 1 he's a starter. You have Gordon and you have Landry and you have Callaway and you have Coleman. Callaway's already got banged up and he's got the hamstring. He's not even going to be participating. So to me, as of right now today, June 26th, Corey Coleman's got the third wide receiver role as of right now, correct?
Right.
Okay, so he's going to have first crack at it, assuming he is healthy and he stays healthy for the first, 4 to 6 weeks, and he does anything with Tyrod Taylor. Then I think that's when you sell him for a second-round pick. Right now, I don't think there's anyone in our league, anyways, that's willing to give up a second-round pick. But
Which is why I said, so
you hold him?
The person that owns him can't really trade him because they're not going to get what he's really worth. Like he still has that first-round pedigree, and he's still young. He's 23 years old. If he gets into the right situation, I think that a great trading partner would have been the Dallas Cowboys.
You know who I thought? Dallas Cowboys, I thought, and also Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts have T.Y. Hilton and nothing. They have Chester Rogers, Ryan Grant. They have these guys that are just like, they're just guys. And Corey Coleman, if he stays healthy, could easily be the wide receiver 2 there to T.Y. Hilton's wide receiver 1. So Dallas, Indianapolis, there was a lot of teams I thought he could have went to, but they didn't. I would have loved to have him in Detroit as the number 3 there. But, I mean, He hasn't really done anything because of his injuries, but I think he has the talent to be a very good slot receiver or a wide receiver 2 on a team, and I just don't think that's Cleveland Browns. I
don't think he's going to excel in the Cleveland Browns situation either. I think they brought in Callaway to be like the number 3 guy because they still have Gordon and they signed Landry, that huge deal.
So he's a hold for me as well, I think.
Yeah, and also I want to see what can Todd Haley do with it. Like this is the first time they've had a really good offensive coordinator.
But you've always said though that Todd Haley doesn't the wide receiver 2s and 3. The wide receiver 3s don't produce much. With Todd Haley. So that's another knock against Corey Coleman. That he might be healthy, but Todd Haley doesn't use a wide receiver 3 very much. So
the Browns have already said too that they would trade him for a decent offer. So I think it's still on the table that he could get traded, which. That's definitely not going to benefit Corey Coleman at being traded this late. Like, if it happens, like, close to week 1 and he doesn't get to gel, he's in the same situation as Sammy Watkins was in L.A.
Yeah.
When he got traded kind of late in camp, and then he had to go and try to play catch-up after everyone else has a rapport with the quarterback.
I agree.
So it's going to be a sticky situation, but I think in this case, in Dynasty, Corey Coleman's a hold right now. I'm not looking to ship him out, and I'm definitely not looking to play him either. So he's definitely a hold for me.
It's me as well. Second name that I did want to bring up was Josh Doctson, also going into his 3rd season. He technically, right now for Washington, is the wide receiver 2 at the moment. Mm-hmm. He's 25 years old. He's 6'2", 206 pounds. Pretty good size for a wide receiver. 2016, he was hurt almost the entire year. He had 2 catches. 2017, he played, I don't know how many games, but he had 35 catches. So he's had 37 catches in 2 years. Not much, but that was with the whole shuffling going on there with Terrell Pryor and Jamison Crowder being in and out of injury. Jordan Reed was in and out of injury. Like that whole wide receiver core, it never really gelled there in Washington the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Well, in 2016, he only played 2 games because of injuries, like you said.
And then what about 2017?
He actually played all 16 games.
But it didn't seem like it because he only had 35 catches.
I feel like at TCU, he was a really good receiver. They also drafted him in the 1st round. So you're kind of noticing a little
trend,
a pedigree we're kind of talking about here. Like, I think that what happened was there's been a couple of years, and I think 2014 was the year that everyone talks about we were spoiled. Like, everyone just, like, kind of took off in their 1st or 2nd year of the league.
It was the same thing with the running backs last season, with the Fournettes and the McCaffreys and so on.
But to me, that's an anomaly. And I feel like people in Dynasty, like, they're not giving these guys enough chance to develop. Like, you can't say, like, oh, well, this is this guy's 3rd year, and, he hasn't made it yet. It's like, you got to give these guys a chance. But the thing I don't like about Doctson in Washington is I feel like he was a good receiver at TCU, and now for Washington, they've kind of turned him into a one-trick pony. It's like they just basically tell him to run deep, and we'll throw it up to you. If you catch it, cool, you got a 50-yard pickup. If you drop it, everyone's like, oh, man, another drop for Doctson. It's like he's not set up for success there. I think that, and now you're bringing Alex Smith, who until just last year never threw the ball deep. Last year was his first year that he actually did it, and he is very accurate. But the one knock against Alex Smith is that he doesn't throw into tight windows. He doesn't care who you are or what your name is. He does not throw into tight windows.
Yeah, but if you're Josh Doctson, and the only other wide receiver there that's really going to take touches away from is Jamison Crowder, right? Like, who else is there really to? Who else is there going to throw to in the wide receiver court? Not tight end.
This is what they're set up for. This is exactly what they're set up for. You're going to have a lot of Geis and Chris Thompson, right? And then you bring in Paul Richardson and Doctson to basically stretch the field. So you have Doctson and Paul Richardson going deep, and then you have Crowder over the middle, which is why I think Crowder is the guy you want to own in Washington. He's going to thrive in this offense because he gets a lot of separation. In the slot, he is averaging 3.2 yards of separation, and that's the kind of guy that Alex Smith tries to key on, not the guy that's getting less than a yard of separation. He's not going to throw into that tight window. And I kind of feel bad for Doctson because of the situation he's in, because I feel like he's not going to thrive in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, it might be time for him to move on after this season. What in fantasy-wise, Dynasty, are you trying to acquire Josh Doctson?
If I can get him on the cheap, then yes.
What's cheap? Third round?
Third round. If I can give up a third-round pick, I would give up a third-round pick just for Doctson, who was a first-rounder, and hope that he either develops a rapport with Alex Smith or maybe moves on after his rookie contract is up.
Yeah, I don't think I'm looking to get Josh Doctson. If I had him and somebody offered me a third-round pick right now, like if it was for tonight, like not in 2019, if it was a 2018 third round and it was like a 305 or earlier, I think I would take it, just because I think that there's still a lot of talent coming out as a rookie, and I don't want to have to wait another season, meaning that's his fourth year going in before he develops and take that chance. He's 25, he'll be 26 next year. At some point, you have to kind of, bite the bullet and be like, yeah, you know what, maybe this guy's not working out with his team. And if the team keeps signing him, doesn't let him go, or whatever the case may be, if he's a wide receiver 2 option right now and he can't produce this season, you got to give up on him. He's not like he's wide receiver 4, wide receiver 3. He's a number 2 option right now as far as wide receivers go on that team. If he doesn't happen right now, I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
He's got decent size.
Yeah.
Too. Like he's 6'2" and he's 206 pounds. Like he's got decent size, and I don't know. I think there's still potential there. I think that you haven't seen his breakout yet, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his first year, with only playing 2 games, I feel like that was almost like a red shirt.
Right.
Like I feel like he's just coming into his second year, even though he's going to be 25 this season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's almost like he hasn't had the chance yet. So I'm willing to give a third rounder on him, and hope that he breaks out, either this year or next.
Do you own him?
I don't own him in any leagues. No.
Yeah, neither do I. Let's say we work out a trade then. So next name I do want to come across here and talk about Sterling Shepard. He's definitely the most. You've had the most production out of him for the first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
New York Giants, he kind of got thrown into a role last season because of all these injuries, and he ended up being the wide receiver 1 on the team after Beckham went down and Marshall went down and so on and so forth. Even he got hurt for a little while. But Sterling Shepard is going to be the wide receiver 2 on the Giants this year. He's 25 years old, 5'10", 201. First year as a rookie, he had 65 catches.
But he made a splash because he had 8 touchdowns that rookie year.
Then he had 59 catches last year, so pretty consistent, right around the 60 to 62 catch range. 124 catches in his first 2 seasons, and he actually has production. Do you think his third year that he gets more than 65 catches?
Yeah,
I think he gets way more.
I actually do
not
see...
way more. Hang on. Not more than like 85, but somewhere between 75 and 80.
I see a huge uptick this year for Sterling Shepard. If you can go out and get him on the cheap, which is maybe not possible, but if you can, go get him on the cheap.
But to me, the cheap is like 205 for Sterling Shepard. I think is fair. No one's giving up a first round for Sterling Shepard, right?
Earlier in this offseason, before they even went to the voluntary camps, I traded. I have some pretty decent depth at running back, and I traded Lamar Miller for Sterling Shepard straight up, and he was just to add depth to my team. But he's coming into his third year. I think he takes a big leap forward. He only played 11 games last year, and he still went up in receptions and receiving yards. Obviously, he took a step back.
He went down 6.
I'm sorry, he went down 6. I'm sorry, he went up in yards.
Right.
And he missed 6 games due to like minor injuries here and there. I think he takes a huge step forward this year because he's going to have Odell Beckham back, and
so
he's healthy.
He's going to get the second corner.
Second corner. I think Evan Ingram. Everyone's picking him to be like this tight end 1. I think he takes a little step back.
Me too.
I think he was kind of thrust into that, and there was like nothing else they had. with Sterling Shepard even missing games, you're not going to throw to Roger Lewis the entire time.
But they also have Barkley now to open. They literally had no running game the last year, like zero. So teams knew that they were going to throw. They were down every single game, and it was just Sterling Shepard and Ingram for the most part. Now you bring Beckham back, you add Laquon Barkley. That's going to open up the passing game, in my opinion, tremendously. Being able to throw to Barkley out of the backfield. You have Ingram healthy, Beckham's back, Sterling Shepard's your number 2, and they got rid of Marshall now. So it's basically just those two guys are going to be getting the majority of the production. I could easily see Sterling Shepard get 80 catches. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get 100 or anything outrageous, but if he gets 80 catches and close to 1,000 yards, he's going to be right there in the wide receiver 2 range.
And maybe like 5 touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to do anything incredible because that's Beckham. Beckham's going to be getting the double coverage, and Beckham's going to be getting the best, shutdown corner, as we say.
Right.
So I think out of the names so far that we mentioned, Sterling Shepard far and away outproduces them, and I feel very confident with Sterling Shepard going forward. I love him. I love his talent. He is a little undersized at 5'10". I want him to be a little bit taller, but that's okay. Like, he seems to be adjusting very well, and he did great. If his floor is 60 catches, then sign me up.
Okay, and the one thing also I want to name about Shepard is last year he ran 2016 and 2017, he ran 86% of his routes out of the slot, and that was according to PFF. Now they're working him more on the outside. So they've been doing a lot more with him. Pat Shurmur even quoted saying, "I've been doing a lot on the outside." I'm sorry, Shepard said that, and he feels like he's proven that he can play outside and handle that and the slot.
So he can go anywhere on the field.
Right, not just the slot. His first 2 years, he ran a majority of his snaps out of that slot, and now Pat Shurmur and Sterling Shepard himself are both saying, "Look, we're working more on the outside with me, and I'm ready to show her, but I can do the outside as well."
Eli Manning's got about 2 years left. I say maybe 3 at the most, but 2 years left, and you get 2 really good years out of Sterling Shepard as his 3rd and 4th season with Odell Beckham there. I feel very good about that. So I'm very high on Sterling Shepard. I just don't know if I would put. If you had the 112, would you offer that for Sterling Shepard? You're looking at basically like a Cortland Sutton, maybe Kerryon Johnson, Ronald Jones range in rookies, or Sterling Shepard.
No, I think it's a fine line right there. I think a top end 2-0, like a 202, 203. I would take. I think right now at this point,
Michael Gallup or Sterling Shepard.
I think I take Shepard. I take Shepard ahead of Dante Pettis.
Anthony Miller?
And Anthony Miller, I think, too. So, yeah, I think he's right around, like if it's a 202, 203, 204-ish.
I have 205. I would give up the 205 for Sterling Shepard, for sure. But you have him or you don't?
I just traded for him. I have him.
In the league for tonight?
Yes.
You don't want the 205 for him?
No, I just traded for Shepard. I'd rather have Shepard.
Would you take the 205 for Lamar Miller, who you traded for? You know what I'm saying? If you still had Lamar Miller and I said, hey, I'll give you the 205.
I would take the 205.
So that is a very fine line. You're talking 202, 205. You're talking 2 or 3 guys.
It is a very fine line. I would take, if I had Lamar Miller and you offered me the 205, I would let Lamar Miller go for the 205.
So would I if I had Miller. If I had Sterling Shepard, I think that's a very fair market value. Like I don't see that big.
That would come down to personal preference.
But to me, it would have to be during the draft. Wait up till like the 203, 204 range.
There.
Correct. And if you liked a guy that was still there, you could say, look, if this guy falls to me right here, yes, I'll make that trade for you. And
right.
I mean, that might happen tonight. So if that does happen tonight, then you guys can talk about it next week on the show. I won't be here next week. So hopefully we can work out a trade because I really like Sterling Shepard. I don't need receivers in this league, but I'm always willing to take extra help and depth at wide receiver because you can't have enough.
Where are you going next week? Bali? Bora?
Yeah, just a little bit closer. Arizona.
French Polynesia?
Yeah, no, I don't go on the extravagant trips. The trips I go to, I have a hotel set up and somebody that lives there, and all the stuff I do is, normal stuff. I don't go and spend thousands of dollars on going to Bora Bora. Okay. Last guy that we want to talk about, and we can wrap up here. 3rd year wide receiver coming into the league, and probably for me the most controversial. I'm kind of confused about him and what is going on with him is Laquon Treadwell.
I'm not confused at all. Go ahead and say what you want.
Okay. He's a wide receiver 3 right now in Minnesota, still behind Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. He's only 23 years old still, 6'2", 215, has great size. His first season he had 1 catch. His second season, he had 20 catches. This is why I'm confused. Was he a first-round pick as well, or second?
He was also a first-round pick. This is why I like this, because we did all first-rounders.
All 4 guys are first-round picks. So he's a first-round pick. Pick number what?
He was number 23 overall.
23, okay. where did he go? What happened? I know he got hurt for a little while there. He's had issues off the field or on the field. I'm sorry, but what happened to him? Like, where did he go? He has the talent. He got drafted high. When he got drafted, this is the first year that we did our first Dynasty draft, and he went astronomically high because everyone's like, I'm going to get this rookie stud. Everyone was saying, like, not Calvin Johnson, like, per se, but, like, that he was going to have the talent of the next big wide receiver coming out and has done nothing. So, go ahead. You tell me why you're not confused.
It's
like, what's going on?
You chalk this all up to immaturity.
Okay.
1,000%. And yes, players can become mature. But I think that he's pretty much worn out his welcome in Minnesota. They have Adam Thielen there, they have Stephon Diggs there, and they have Kendall Wright, who they brought in this year to basically battle for the number 3 spot with Laquon Treadwell. I think Kendall Wright in this position
outproduces.
Yes, I don't think Treadwell is a guy that you want to hold on to. He's not somebody that I'm willing to go out and just drop for anything. But I'm fielding offers for Laquon Treadwell if I own him. I'm trying to get rid of this guy.
I think
and it sucks because you probably spent a high draft pick on this guy. But he's just somebody that I don't see coming out of the situation. Sometimes the talent doesn't overcome the immaturity. I think that he's like, was it last year or the year before he was getting in fist fights with teammates, like actual like punches thrown.
I think that was his rookie season. I think.
Yeah, and then he gets in off-field troubles. Like he's just a guy that I don't think is. He's not a guy that I see as like getting over the immaturity thing, and maybe he'll prove me wrong, and I hope he does because I don't like to see anybody tank their entire career because of this stuff like this, but. He's a guy that I just don't see getting over the immaturity anytime soon.
I mean, for where he's going now, though, is like he's basically not even He's not even being drafted in redraft or dynasty or anywhere because he's just fallen off the map completely. And because Thielen and Diggs have been doing so well, it's like where does he really fit in? Okay, now you get a new quarterback in Kirk Cousins, but yeah, okay, if it's immaturity, that's one thing. But is the talent there? Do you think the talent's there? Because like it's almost like a. I'm not trying to compare him to Josh Gordon talent-wise, but I'm saying Josh Gordon has extreme talent, and he's also had a bunch of injuries and a bunch of off-field suspensions and just on and on and on and on. And it's not like Treadwell's in that same boat. Like, he might be immature, but it's not like he's being suspended for seasons at a time. So it's like, if you do believe in his talent when he came out because you drafted him so high and everyone was so all over him, and he got drafted in the first round of the NFL draft, how do you give up on a guy that really hasn't had a fair shake of an opportunity? And it's not like he's playing 70% of the snaps and not producing. You know what I mean? Like, he's not. How has he not gotten a chance?
It's very mixed because you have the Vikings on one hand saying that they are expecting a third-year leap from Laquon Treadwell.
Well, of course they're going to say that.
Okay, but then just back in February they had him on the trade tables. Like they were trying to get rid of him. So
that's normal.
Okay, not really. Not for a guy that's coming into his third year. If you want a guy to come in and be developed, and you want a guy to come in and step in and try and show that he's learning, why are you trying to deal him already? He's still in his rookie contract.
Name cachet, just like the Josh Gordon. You and Travis believe in Josh Gordon's talent, and you're willing to risk first round picks on him and all this other stuff that we talked about in previous podcasts. And there's some Laquon Treadwell believers. Like, I know the couple guys that do own him kind of have to be a believer at this point. And it's kind of like the Derrick Henry thing where it's like you either love him and you believe in his talent, or you're just like okay on him and you're just not, you don't believe in it. And I don't know. I think that if Laquon Treadwell got a chance and he was the wide receiver 3 with Kirk Cousins as the quarterback, as much as Minnesota likes to throw the ball around, like he could have some production and be fantasy relevant. I just don't know how relevant, and it's definitely not going to be this season. Even if he takes a huge leap, he's not going to outproduce Thielen or Stephon Diggs. So at the best case scenario, he's wide receiver 3. That's with Rudolph there. That's with Dalvin Cook there taking touches away and receptions away as well. So the ceiling of Laquon Treadwell in Minnesota is not enough for me to want to own him.
Yeah, I mean...
Is he cuttable, though? Like, do you cut him? Or, like, if I offered you a 4th-round pick for Laquon Treadwell, you know what I mean? Like, who would you rather own, Laquon Treadwell or Josh Doctson?
I'd rather have Josh Doctson.
Treadwell or Coleman?
Coleman.
Like, where do you draw the line? Treadwell or...
Treadwell,
just
the 4 guys we talked about.
Treadwell or Chris Moore from Baltimore. Wide receiver 4, who's coming into his 3rd season as well. Chris Moore or...
This may shock you, but I would rather have Chris Moore.
So where do you draw the line? Malcolm Mitchell is also in his 3rd season. Malcolm Mitchell or Laquon Treadwell?
I'm not high on Mitchell, so I would probably go Treadwell.
Okay, that's where I would take Mitchell, actually.
You would take Malcolm Mitchell?
Dude,
yeah. The dude can't stay healthy. I feel like every other week he's got some kind of knee issue or something like that. He can't stay on the field.
Tajay Sharp, another guy who has done nothing really. He had 41 catches his rookie season, then 0. He's all over the place in Tennessee. They went out and got Corey Davis and a bunch of other wide receivers. I mean, who would you rather have, Sharp or Laquon Treadwell? Do you have a coin? I'll flip a coin, but I think Sharp has a better chance than Treadwell.
One of those guys. I don't want either one of those guys.
If you had to.
What about the other guy you have on that list? What about Geronimo Allison?
Geronimo Allison, I'd rather have.
I'd rather have him
anytime I can have a wide receiver with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, technically right now, going into the season, depending on what they do with Ty Montgomery, it's Randall Cobb, who's walking around in a boot right now in training camp, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
And then you have
That'll be on our news and notes episode.
And then you have Devontae Adams, and then not much after that. It's a bunch of rookies. Equinemius St. Brown, you have Jamon Moore, you have that Valdez Scantling, or Scantling Valdez, whatever the hell his name is, and you have Geronimo Allison. And if you're going to tell me I can have a piece of the Packers wide receiving core, I'll take that any day over Laquon Treadwell.
I think Allison starts. I think Allison's it's going to be Adams and Allison on the outside and Cobb in the slot.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Hot take city from Jay. I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
They're going to get Ty Montgomery the ball somehow, and I don't think it's going to be only in the running game. I think that Ty Montgomery is going to get, like, who's going to get more catches this year, Geronimo Allison or Ty Montgomery? I can't believe you're even thinking about it.
Yeah, I guess you give it to Ty Montgomery, yes. I would.
So that means that you have Devontae Adams ahead of him. Randall Cobb's going to for sure have more catches than him, correct? Then you have Ty Montgomery's going to have more catches than him. That's without mentioning Jimmy Graham as well. So who's going to get more catches, Geronimo Allison or Jimmy Graham? Probably Jimmy Graham. So now you're like the fifth, almost sixth option on the team for Geronimo Allison. Is he really going to have fantasy production like enough to where you can even start him as like a flex? You're saying he's going to start. So if he's going to be a, quote, starter and he's going to be on the outside, you would think that on the Green Bay Packers, a starting wide receiver, you're playing him every single week. But I just don't see that.
No, he's not a guy. I own him in one league. And
You're starting in week one?
No.
Okay. So just because he's a starter
and
per
you
se,
start 5 receivers in that league too,
and you're not starting him,
no.
right? So it's like you
He's
believe
my
in
number
him.
6.
You believe in him, but you don't believe in him that much.
The only reason I like him at all is because he has Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. That's the only reason.
But Aaron Rodgers might not even throw him the ball because there's so many other options there. That's what we're getting at. So,
right.
Geronimo Allison coming into his third year as well. Just a touch on him. He has gotten better. 16 catches, then 23 catches. Now they move off of Jordy Nelson, so there is going to be a bunch of targets up for grabs. But they did bring in Jimmy Graham as well. So I don't know how that shakes down. I think Rodgers likes to spread the ball everywhere. I think Devontae Adams is going to be the clear-cut number 1, and then after that, it's kind of up for grabs. So whoever does the best in training camp preseason and gels the best with Rodgers, I think it's going to be Cobb who's going to be the number 2. So everyone else after that is just flip a coin.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that.
Okay, you ready to crack one for the third-year wide receivers? Where can they find us, or
you can definitely find us on www.triplecoveragePodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter at TripleCoPodcast. You can find us on Instagram under Triple Coverage Podcast, and also our Facebook fan page. And also, another reminder, like we told you at the beginning of this episode, if you hung out with us the whole time, go to www.podcastawards.com. It's the 13th year they've done it. This is our first year entered into it, and go on there and nominate us and vote for TCP. You have the entire month of July and a little bit of August to go do that, so we'd really appreciate if you did that.
Let's crack a cold one.
Let's crack it.
Time.